Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about business development plans. Now, a business development plan is not the same thing as a business plan, because I know you guys are used to me mostly talking about business plans, which are, what's a business plan again? Okay, business plan, typically in this part of the world, is a document that you use to raise finance. It is what you show to your investors, to your stakeholders, to your whatever, that this is the business, this is what you do, this is how much money you need, this is how much money you hope you're going to make, and this is how you're going to pay people back. Then this is also, okay, in the document you also have a plan for how you intend to market the business and to grow sales. So that's a business plan. But today we're going to be talking about a business development plan. Now, if you like these sorts of things, business, sales, growth, marketing, then subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of your choice. My name is Tabashima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast, and if you'd love to connect with me, you can call, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. Now, before we begin, apologies, making today's recording at home. It's a weekend, so there'll be some noise. And the kids are playing Roblox in the background. So just in case, you hear some shouting and hollering. Okay. So, like I said, business development plans. Now, the reason why we're talking about business development plans today is because I was chilling on LinkedIn, and then I saw one LinkedIn influencer put up something about how to come up with a business development plan. And I thought the thing was too cerebral. The thing was too intellectual. It was too brain. It was too, let's sit down in the office, let's come up with some plans, let's strategize, it was too thinking. Let me just put it that way. Too much of thinking involved. And I don't think it's not a bad way to think about a business development plan, but I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's going to serve you the best, especially those of us who are in the SME space, small and medium scale. So yes, international conglomerates, like recently was on the news that Netflix just bought over Warner Brothers, or intends to buy over Warner Brothers. So yeah, at that level, sit inside the office under AC and you can be strategizing. But then before you get to that level, I think there's a much more helpful and a much more practical way to come up with your business development plan. Now, first off, what is a business development plan? Because I've already told you guys, I've already helped to define what a business plan is. That one is separate. So now, business development plan. So the way I like to look at it is a business development plan basically is that plan that you have for business growth. That's it. Very simple. If you have a plan somewhere, you have sketched out something somewhere on a sheet of paper, on a Google Drive, on wherever the thing is, in your diary, a plan for this current business that you have that says this is how we're going to grow the business, that is a business development plan. Now, a business development plan, in my own opinion, also includes go-to-market plans. Now, go-to-market is just the fancy way that those of you in the tech space like to say you're launching something new into the market. So you guys like to call that GTM. You guys love your acronyms. Another 2 years from now, they will invent another word for it. But for now, tech people, they're saying GTM, go-to-market. So your go-to-market plan, you're launching something new into the market. That also is a business development plan. And then for me, a business development plan also includes when you're at the stage of trying to get market validation for your idea, or you're trying to achieve product market fit. Now, market validation or product market fit just means you have a new product, as in, it's not as if you have launched like that, but you're trying to see if there's any market demand. Do people like this thing? Will this thing move? Do people value this thing that I have? And if they value it, will they pay for this thing at a price that makes sense? So even if you're at that stage, yeah, I still think you can say you have a business development plan. So a business development plan is basically your plan for business growth. Excuse me. So you have a business that is on ground already, standing. how are we going to grow this business? That's a business development plan. Or you're about to enter into the market, brand new, fresh. You have a go-to-market plan, or you're trying to achieve market validation. You're trying to prove of concept. You're trying to show that there's demand for this thing, that people like this thing. In my own opinion, all those things are business development plans. So, summary, business development plan just means that document that you create, or that plan that you create, that answers the question, will this thing grow? That's it. How will this thing grow? What is the best way for us to grow this thing? If you have that thing, you have the making of a business development plan. So, okay, there's some things I want to talk about now when it comes to the process of coming up with a business development plan or business development planning. Now, one thing we have to understand about this process is it is difficult, because when you're coming up with your business development plan, you're going to be planning for things that you don't do normally in your everyday life. So just accept from the beginning that business development planning is scary. You're going to be coming up with a plan for how you would approach total strangers, or for how many phone calls you're going to make in a day, or who you're going to call, or how many flyers you're going to drop, or how many people's offices that you're going to go and visit. This is not what you do every day. So because of that, this whole process is scary. So just accept it. It will be scary. Now, because it is scary, you will find yourself putting things off. That is just normal. The big thing that you're scared of, you will normally delay. That's the reason why Brian Tracy and what's his name? The English writer. Sorry, not English. I think it was American. The guy who wrote, is it Tom Sawyer? I can't remember. But basically, I think the Tom Sawyer guy, the one who wrote that book, I think he said, and I think it's supposed to be like an American proverb or something, that if you must eat a frog, eat the frog first thing in the morning. You heard the proverb? That if you must eat a frog, eat the thing first thing in the morning. Because the frog is not going to get any prettier. It's not going to get any sweeter. The thing will be there. The more you are delaying and you are delaying and you are delaying, the more you feel, one kind. So if you have to eat this frog, just wake up first thing in the morning, bro, swallow the thing and then begin your day. Now, my mother-in-law likes to say that if you must eat a frog, eat a big frog. Either way, if there's something that you got to tackle, just go ahead, tackle that thing now. So because it's scary, you're going to find yourself wanting to delay. You say, "Kai, this frog, who wants chop frog, self?" Then you delay. You say, you know what? Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I'll eat the frog at 10. 10 o'clock, somebody will come and visit you. You say, you know what? I'll eat that thing at 11. 11 o'clock, you say, I don't feel like eating frog. You go and make a bar. Then eat it at 12. 12 o'clock, you say, I'm supposed to go and visit Chief. You will now go and visit Chief. You will come back. The frog is still there. That's how you continue to delay and delay and delay. Now, people call this all kinds of things in business. Some people call it reluctance. Some people call it sabotage. Some people call it whatever. But the point I'm just trying to make is know that dynamic is there. Now, it is because of that reason that some of us in the sales and business development space, what we say is you don't need to have a perfect plan. Because sometimes this whole thing of sitting down to make sure you have a perfect plan is just these dynamics of reluctance or sabotage at play. Because it is hard, you want to sit down. You want to come up with a perfect plan before you begin. Don't wait for a perfect plan. Especially for those of us in the SME space. It's enough that you have a rough idea. You have a rough idea? Go ahead. Just do it. As you are doing it, as you are executing, you will get more information. The more information that you have, you will reassess. That's market feedback. You take that market feedback and then you do the whole thing all over again. But don't wait until you have a perfect plan. It's okay to have a rough sketch. Okay, we have a rough idea that maybe is Yoruba men between the ages of 60 and 73 who will like this product. It's enough to say, that's a rough idea. You now go into the market and then try. It is there. You will now get market data to show that actually the biggest segment is Igbo men between the ages of, 25 and, 32. But to sit down in the office, in the AC, in your bedroom, on the dining table, or wherever, and say that you will guess accurately who your ideal customer profile is from the beginning, my friend, stop giving yourself an impossible job. Don't fall into this whole thing of reluctance and sabotage. You're waiting for the perfect plan. Get a rough idea, just do it. Don't try and get too fancy. If you're aiming for a perfect plan, you're only going to be delaying the time that you need to start this journey. But remember, I'm only talking about people in the SME space. So for those of you who are in international companies, international business teams, that's a different thing. So go ahead with whatever it is your sales manager says you should do. Oh, and by the way, we do have international companies amongst us. I mean, there are some companies that, I think, is it like Canva? I think Canva even has, do they have a Nigeria office? I'll be like a West Africa office or something. I can't remember if it's Canva, but there's a listener of the podcast who reached out and we were talking, and it turns out that's where she works. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that some companies, some international companies, I didn't know they rate us like that. That Nigeria is its own market, or Nigeria is a region within the market that they are trying to conquer. So yes, some of you listening to this podcast who are members of international teams. So in that case, do what your line manager says. But if you're not in that kind of setup, I beg, stop giving yourself unnecessary headache. Do you have a rough plan? Let's go ahead. So like I said, the reason why we're discussing this today is because a LinkedIn influencer put up some stuff on LinkedIn discussing business development planning and processes that all of us we should be using. Then she gave some details of her business development plan. So one moment, let me get my device. So let me read it out. I just want to read the whole thing. Then we'll start making comments on it. So for her, the process, we can break it into 3 logical phases. And yeah, she's correct. First of all, there's planning and analysis. That's stage 1. Then step 2 is strategy and action. Then the final one is implementation and review. Sorry about that. Recovering from a cold. That's for those of you who've been listening for a while. So phase 1 now. These are the details of what she says. Planning and analysis. So here she said that we should focus on understanding the current situation, and then we should set clear goals. And the first thing she recommends that we should do is we should assess ourselves. That's the company, the business company. We should assess it. We should do things like SWOT analysis. We should look at strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. We should also do market analysis. What's going on in the market? What are market trends? What are the competition? Blah, blah, blah. What are the dynamics going on? She said we should try and get a deep understanding of our customer needs, our competitors. Then we'll now set clear goals and targets. We'll have to make sure that they are SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Let's see what else. She says we should identify the target market and audiences. We should develop detailed buyer personas, develop our value proposition, blah, blah, blah. And on paper, you can see that all of these things make sense. But you are beginning to see the reason why I'm saying sometimes we make this thing too cerebral. So what she's saying is that before you start selling your product, excuse me, you have to sit down, and these are all the things that you have to start planning for before you go out into the field. But anyway, let's move on into phase 2. And this is precisely the reason why some of you will say, oh, I'm beginning, I'm launching, I'm strategizing, I'm thinking. This is the reason why some of you, it takes you 4 months to start. Because you're trying to plan all these things down on paper first. Before you go and, before you go and talk to somebody to say, buy my product, buy my service, you want to sit down and do SWOT analysis in your company, in your business. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? You'll be doing SWOT analysis before you go and start chasing customer. Anyway, so she said phase 2, strategy and action. So she says here we need analytical insights and we need concrete plans. Then we'll now do resource allocation. Resource allocation just means, you're about to do something. You need to check yourself to be sure that you have what you need before you move out. Because after all, the good book says that which man who wants to build a house will now sit down first and check his pocket and say, do I have what I need to finish this house? lest he starts and then he can't finish the house, then people will start laughing at him. And yeah, this happens a lot in Abuja. You buy land, you begin to build. After foundation, you now hook. Your neighbors will be laughing at you, saying, I see this guy. He was feeling like a big boy. Meanwhile, he can't finish what he started. So that's just what resource allocation means. So she says that at this stage, strategy and action, we should choose our business development strategy. Let's see, what else? We need to create an action plan, break down the action plan into strategies. We need to establish timelines, allocate resources, come up with a budget, estimate the budget. And she also said we need to set KPIs and performance metrics. Let's see. On and on and on. And in theory, on paper, all of this makes sense. But you can see the reason why some of you have not started. 2 months, 3 months, you're still at home. You're doing SWOT analysis. You're researching KPI. You're doing all this brain work. You haven't gone outside to talk to one person to say, buy my product, buy my service. You see how some of all this is holding you back. I didn't say this thing is bad though. This thing is good. It's good. But anyway, let me continue. Then phase 3, she said implementation and review. So she said this is what we're going to execute, monitor results, and then work on continuous improvement. Then let's see, what else? Okay, so there's some stuff here about maintaining communication channels, monitoring, evaluation, and adjusting, things like that. But summary, I didn't want to read it because actually her guidelines were long, as in there were plenty. So technically speaking, everything she said, there's nothing that is wrong there. She's absolutely correct. But you can see that if you want to start your business based on what some of these influencers are saying, you can see that you have your idea January 1st. By the time you finish all of this thing, all the research and all the brain work, all the strategizing that is required, you probably won't enter a market until, Valentine's Day. 2026, you've already wasted like 6 weeks. You didn't do anything. So, is there any problem with what she said? Nah, there's no problem. Technically speaking, she's correct. We should think through these things well. We should plan everything well. But are all steps that she has mentioned, is every single thing necessary? The answer is no. It's not as if there's everything there that is necessary, especially for somebody who is starting fresh. You're an SME. This kind of planning, the disadvantage with this kind of planning, it is too brainy. It is too academic. It is too tidy. It will keep you in the office. It will keep you in the house. It will keep you in the wherever you are doing your planning. It will keep you there for like 5 weeks before you even go outside. When we are starting our business brand new, it's not about sitting down under the AC and be planning. Instead of doing 5 weeks of planning, get outside into the field. Go and be getting good feedback. Go and get what statisticians like to call qualitative data. Quantitative data means you have all your information in terms of percentages and this and this and that. But qualitative data is you go and you talk to somebody. You get their impressions. You get their mood. You get their, So it's not quantity. It's not as if you can reduce it to percentages and numbers. But you can get some feeling, get some feedback, get some mood about what is going on in the market. So instead of sitting down and planning for 3 weeks, 5 weeks, go outside. Go and experience the market. Go and get real-time, rich data from the market that you now use to define your strategy. Instead of sitting down in the office under AC and then planning strategy for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks before you move. Your sales strategy should be organic. It's not just that you sit down in a laboratory and then think up something. Go outside, see the reality on ground. So, with what she said then, what's my own simplified process? Taking what she has worked on, I just deleted a few things. So, like I said, logical phases, planning and analysis, very correct. We must sit down and plan and analyze before we go outside. And number 2, strategy and action. Strategy, where are we heading to? Action just means the tactics. What is the next step we're going to do? So we have to plan that one too. Then implementation and review. Now that we've gone outside, we've tried a few things. Let's come back at home or in the office. Let's see what worked, what didn't work. What can we learn? How can we improve? So she's absolutely correct. Those 3 phases, very important. We must do planning. We must do strategy. We must do review. Very important. But that planning and analysis stage, all those extra things she was saying, please, remove it. SWOT which one is SWOT? SWOT what? Ignore SWOT. Ignore it. The only thing you need to pay attention to here in phase 1, planning and analysis, or rather the main thing you need to pay attention to here is ICP and ideal market. Who is the main customer? Who are the people who might be interested in this product or service? Where can we find them? That's all you need to figure out now. For now, that we're launching this thing. That's all we need. All those other things are unnecessarily academic. The time will come to be doing SWOT analysis. The time is not now. Who is your ICP? Who is the ideal market? That's the only thing we need to figure out now at this stage. That is all. Ignore SWOT analysis. Ignore market analysis. In fact, the market analysis you're trying to do is when you go outside and you start trying to talk to people, buy my product, buy my product. That is the real market analysis. It is there people will be telling you, you're too expensive, this person is cheaper, your product sucks, or your product is too good, or you're charging too low, or this will work in Ghana, this will not work in Nigeria. That is the real market analysis. When you go outside and you are engaging one-on-one with people, one-on-one with stakeholders. That is the real market analysis. It's not sitting down in your office. Some of you wonder, why this guy they vex? I'm vexing because I'm on the ground and I'm seeing these things happening live. Somebody reached out to me. It was a listener of the podcast. I said, how far? What's up? How you been? He said, I'm good. So how far? What's with the progress? All with the progress. The guy is still planning. He says, well, coming up with a brand. I said, So since we spoke 4 months ago, what's up? What's the progress we've made? The guy sent me Twitter handle. The guy sent me some mock-ups and everything. In my mind, I'm thinking, we spoke 4 months ago. You were planning, you were strategizing. 4 months has passed. You're still planning, you're strategizing. We're in December. And I know that if we talk in February, you'll still be planning, you'll still be strategizing. You have a mock-up. You have a minimum viable product. What are you afraid of? How much more planning do you need to do? Go outside and start talking to some people. This is my product. This is my service. This is my mock-up. Will you buy this thing for 5K? It's that simple. Will you buy this thing for 2.5M? It's that simple. Okay, if you're afraid and you don't want to start calling money now, at least validate that, people like the whole thing. Bros, I'm about to enter this market. This is my mock-up. This is my sample. This is my thing. Bros, help me test this thing. I'm doing pilot package. We're just rolling it out. So I've selected you and 5 other people. You can use this thing for free for the next 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, just tell me, does this thing work? Does this thing make sense? How much more planning do you need to do? How much more planning do you guys really need to do? Planning and analysis. All we need right now is who might be interested in this product or service. Who do you think is the ideal market? Okay, we know them. Where did they hang out? I have no problem. All right, let's be going. I will go to Ikeja. You go to Maryland. You go to this place. You go to that place. Let's try it for this week. On Saturday, we'll all come back here to the office and we'll now discuss. We'll now know how far. Ignore SWOT analysis. So she's correct. Identify your target audience. Identify your target markets. Try and figure out who are the specific segments that you have to go across. Try and figure out geographic areas. She's correct. Where do you think they are? Are they in Maitama? Are they in Guzape? Are they in Apo? Are they in Guarimpa? Try and figure it out. Once you come up with a simple hypothesis, go and see if you are correct, whether they're in Guarimpa or not. So talking about developing detailed buyer persona, coming up with demographics, behaviors, and psychographics and everything. Well, all of that is important. But in the beginning, you don't know enough to guess correctly. You just don't know. So come up with a rough idea and then go. It is when you enter into the field that you will now know the demographics and psychographics. Because trust me, in the beginning, you will think it is women aged between so and so that will use this product. Then when you go, you will now find out that, it's not even women that are this old. It is women that are older or women who are younger that are actually using the thing. Then she's saying, develop your value proposition before you go out. Just have a vague idea of who you think might need it and why. Go out. When you interact with people, it is there you will now know your real market value proposition. I've told you guys about how, for me, sitting down under the AC, I assumed my value proposition as a wedding photographer was that people do not like Photoshop. And I went out into the market. And I found out that people were actually using me. The unique value proposition of dealing with me was that I was the most professional kid on the block. And it had nothing to do with my Photoshop or my lack of Photoshop. It's hard to really correctly guess these things. So stop sitting down under your AC and trying to figure out all these things. You have a rough idea. Go. You will now learn some things. So all those things that she said in phase 1, and they make sense on paper. But the only thing you need to worry about is ICP, market segments. Once you have a clear idea, talk to your business partners. You then divide the work and begin. If it's an online thing, no problem. Divide the work and then begin. The person that is supposed to focus on LinkedIn, start focusing on LinkedIn. The person that should focus on TikTok, start focusing on TikTok. Run this thing for a while. Saturday, everybody show up in the office. You people discuss. So phase 2, strategy and action. She's very correct. Very, 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 very correct. We need to do that one. Some people make a mistake of not doing this at all. In fact, you guys remember the clients that I had where they wanted to do a PLG, product-led growth. They wanted to get 12 paying clients, and they were going to do that by offering a free plan. So in the beginning, I told them, look, this thing will not work. They say, why? I said, look, because this is how it works. When you say free, you're assuming that people will rush you. But actually, people won't rush you. Conversion is usually between 0 to 3%. So if we're looking at 12 customers at a 3% conversion, that means you need to talk to about 300 or 400 people. We need to offer 300, 400 people free plans just so we can get 12 paying customers. Do you think you can handle it? They say, yeah, we can handle it. But I'm like, you guys are a team of 6, so are you sure you can handle it? They say, yeah, we can handle it. I say, hey, these people are confident, gone, like feeling very, very confident. And of course, at the end of 1 month, do you think we hit it? Of course we didn't. We didn't. So yes, strategy and action. You sit down and try and reverse engineer. This is where we're trying to go to. Therefore, let's try and figure out how many people do we need to talk to in a day? How many people do we need to talk to in a week? How many people do we need to talk to in a month? How many meetings do we need to have? How many houses do we have to go and visit? Sit down, just come up with a rough guess. But of course, remember that in the beginning, you can't guess all these things correctly. So you just come up with a rough draft. So you tell yourself, you know what, we need to be talking to 10 people every day. By the time you go out into the market, you might realize that actually you guys are capable of talking to 30 people every single day. So by the time you do that 1 week, you come back, all of you compare notes, and you see that, initially the goal was 10, but we've been doing 30. You had new information. You now up your quota and then continue. Or if you say 10 every day, but let's say you're based in Lagos, by the time you consider traffic and then this and this and that, honestly speaking, everybody has only been able to talk to two people per day. Now you have some new information. But yeah, you can't come with a perfect plan. Just come up with a rough plan and try and figure out how many people do we need to talk to? How many meetings do we need to set? How many Zoom meetings? How many online presentations do we need to do? Just some rough, whatever. And then go out and try and see if this thing works. Then, implementation and review. Of course, she's correct. But she was talking about, she spoke about KPIs and metrics. You have to monitor your KPI and metrics. Yes, that's important. That's the reason why, as you go outside, you need to have a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. And you need to pay attention to data hygiene. Data hygiene just means the information that you're putting into your CRM. Is it valuable? Is it correct? Is it useful? The CRM tool is what you use to track how many people you're talking to, who you need to be talking to, what your next appointments are, when you should schedule appointments, what stage of the relationship you're in when you're talking to people. That's just what the CRM is. So yeah, you will need that so that you'll be able to do your review later on. Because when you're reviewing, you actually need to be looking at data, looking at information to review. So you need a place where you can go into and say, Chukudi, how many people did you talk to? Chinenye, how many people did you talk to? Kunle, how many people did you talk to? Kemi, how many people did you talk to? Of the people we spoke to, how many people bought? The people that said no, what are the reasons that we got? The ones that clicked, why did they click? We'll sit down and we'll review. So you need your CRM. Then, of course, data hygiene. Make sure you're putting relevant, useful data in there that everybody can understand. One thing I'll change though, she said for regular reviews, she said you should make your regular reviews monthly or quarterly. That's the reason why I told you at the beginning that she must be thinking of people who are in international business. See, as an SME, you're new in this space. You're starting off as a wedding photographer. Or you're starting your brand new startup. Or you're an architect. Or you sell musical instruments. Or you sell bin-at-home fans. Or you sell mobile phones. You want to wait and be doing monthly review. Or be doing quarterly review. My friend, your business will die. In these early stages, if there's a problem, we need to know this problem now. So, when you're new in the business space, or you're just starting, forget monthly review or quarterly review. Quarterly review is every 3 months, Abi every 4 months. Forget monthly or quarterly. In the beginning, our review is weekly. In fact, our review might even be daily. So at the end of the day, you will talk to the whole team. Chinenye, how many people did you talk to? Chukudi, how many people did you talk to? Which ones looks like they're promising? Which one looks like it's not promising? You will be doing this thing on a daily basis. Worst case scenario, sorry, forgive me. I've done that thief thing again because thief people and Anambra people, we have this R and L thing. My wife is always abusing me. So, worst case scenario, your review should be weekly. It's Monday morning. Everybody, before we go outside, show in the office first. Let's discuss. Use 1 hour, discuss, figure out what's going on, then everybody disperse. Next week, Monday, we'll now show again. Worst case scenario. But you cannot say you are doing review monthly or quarterly. When you see LinkedIn influencers or Instagram influencers or whatever talking about these sorts of things, monthly or quarterly review, they're talking about Dangote them. Yeah, Dangote, they can wait and do review at the end of every month and say, how did we do? But those of us who are starting new, starting fresh, you wait until the end of the month before you review. Forget it. That's how Chukudi would have been collecting transport money and he has not been going for his meetings. You didn't know. He has been taking tea fare, but instead he stays at home. He watches Netflix. And then he uses it to buy shawarma. You don't know because you've not been tracking. You've been waiting for monthly. Or people are doing something, excuse me, they think it is the right thing to do, the right strategy, but actually the strategy is not working. And you only discover that at the end of monthly review. Meanwhile, you have been wasting money You've collected money from investors. You've been giving people T-fare. You've been giving people money for data. You've been giving people money for whatever. But then it's at the end of the month, after a month's worth of expenses, you now realize that the thing is not working. Please, when we're starting fresh, our review is weekly, worst case scenario. If you can, be reviewing daily. Where are we? What did we move? How did we move? Where are we moving? Daily. So, summary. What I'm trying to say is this. Sales is more of an execution thing, not really a plan thing, per se. Enough of a plan just to know where you're going, what target we're aiming for, so you can shoot your shot. But it's mostly an execution thing. So you just need simple enough ideas to know what you're supposed to do next. Then now, go out into the field, do that thing. When you get real world data, that is what will help you to now fine-tune that your strategy. It is after you go outside and you get real world data that you can now go back into the strategy room and start making sure that everything is perfect. So please, LinkedIn influencers, they mean well. They really mean well. And all these things that they've said are technically correct on paper. But don't join them and assume that you can stay in the office or stay in your house and correctly guess or correctly predict what it is that will work and what it is that won't work. But don't misunderstand me. Planning is absolutely essential, and we all should plan. Just don't make it too academic. Don't make it too sterile. Don't make it too cerebral. Don't make it too brainy. Okay, 40 minutes, so let me bring it to a close. So thank you very much for listening. Remember, if you'd like to connect with me, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you all some other time.